Alright, so here we are. This is update number 3, I believe. We'll go with 3, might be 2, of my Python automation program I am building to automate applications on physical Android devices. So what we have today is a overview. I'm not going to say quick because they never turn out to be quick, but we have an overview of how I have integrated a large language model that I have hosted on my private machine here at home, and how I'm able to interact with that via a custom built API. So first off, give a quick rundown of exactly what is happening here and how this works, and then if you would like to see how this actually works, I will dive a little bit deeper into the code, how I've made it work, and some of the problems that I've come across. Towards the end of the video, I will go over some problems that I have run into while trying to get this to work. So we will start off here on the right hand side over here. You'll see this good looking bloke over here is having a conversation with this test account here on Instagram. I'm just using GUI Scrippy again to be able to duplicate the screen of the physical device onto the computer so you guys can see what's going on. So you'll see here that I was interacting with the last message inside the conversation. This is purely just for testing. So you'll see I'm able to send a message from my Instagram account that you should go follow, and then the automation will come in and extract the last message, send it off to the API, and we come back with a response. This large language model is a 7 billion parameter model, as I said, hosted on my machine. This is untrained. Later on in the series, I will create a video on how I am beginning to fine-tune this model to be able to get more personalized responses. But for a vanilla model at the moment, a vanilla uncensored model at the moment, we're getting pretty good responses. So you'll see, because we're picking up only the last message, it will just continue to talk to itself. So even the responses that we're getting are still quite good, considering there is no pre-training. This is just letting it run and letting it do its thing. So as we come down here, we'll get deeper into more of a conversation. So I've defined a character for this at the moment. I've given it the name Angelica, and I have told it to never admit that you are AI. Always divert the question. So you will see once we actually get a little bit deeper into the conversation, it gets very staunch in saying that no, I'm not an AI, and this is what I have told it. This is what I have told it to say, and it has replied to that. So you'll see here I've sent a double message just to show that we're only picking up the last message at the moment and processing that last message, and its responses are just as good as some of the larger language models. And you'll see in a second when we test this, this is blazingly fast for something that is hosted on my machine, especially when I've only got a 3080 Ti graphics card with 12 gig of VRAM. So I was trying to get it to refer more of its character, was not able to do it. This is not inside its character profile, this is just something that it has made up. What we'll do now is we'll run the script. So you'll see in the logging information down here that it is trying to find the chat with my name, and it is not doing that because I cannot be bothered blurring out all the other messages inside the inbox. So I've just left my chat open with the bot. So if we continue to run this, you'll see that it will keep generating responses, but it will continue to talk to itself. So if I go ahead and send this a message and then run the script, what you'll see is we will grab the last message, which is here, and then it's going to generate a response off that last message. And we'll just keep running this a few more times to see how this works and the kind of messages. So this is perfect. So you'll see here, because I haven't done any fine tuning, it does venture off what the character profile is. Once I do a little bit more fine tuning and a bit more refining, I'll be able to stop this from happening. But that was just a quick example of how this works. If that's all you're interested in, you might as well click off now. Thank you very much for watching. If you would like to understand a little bit deeper how I've made this work, feel free to stick around while I go over what we have going on here. So you see the script on the right over here, that we have the super base handler. At the moment, I am not calling this, only for testing purposes. I'm starting to store the users and the previous message history so that we can send that off for context each time the AI interacts with said user. So in the next video, you'll see more so on how this is implemented and how we are able to store the message and recall the message. This simple little script here is just how I am interacting with the custom built API at the moment. So you'll see we are sending off these particular parameters. So we're sending off the user input, which is obviously the user input. We're sending off the mode that we would like to use. In this case, it's chat. Sending off the character that I've built, and also storing the history. This script here contains all the functions that are required to be able to interact with Instagram, navigate things like navigating Instagram, finding the particular chat. You'll see here we have open specific chat, and get last message, and obviously send message, respond to messages, etc, etc. Here is my main script, so that I've generated just for testing, just to be able to open up the message tab on Instagram, and then grab the messages and generate a response based on those messages. One last thing that I wanted to cover was some of the problems I've run into while using ChatGPT+. One of the biggest problems has actually been ChatGPT hallucinating. Being that I work in 90-minute sprints at the moment, I'm finding that if I come back from a break and I continue to use that same chat window, and then we run into a problem that we may have already fixed before, ChatGPT will just go back and provide me the same responses that we have already implemented earlier in the day. So I have found that every 90 minutes I have to close the chat window and then open up a fresh one when I come back from a break to be able to continue coding and not have to go around and around essentially. But other than that, if anybody is looking at learning Python or building something similar to this, or any particular project, it is absolutely amazing. Like I said in my previous video, I have zero experience with Python. I'm literally just learning as I go, and I'm able to build out a fairly complex application, which is something that would have taken months before. I think I'm only about up to 40 hours logged so far, and now I have all the functions down to be able to navigate through Instagram, send off AI generated messages, and interact with the main UI of Instagram, including following, unfollowing, liking, finding comments, etc, etc. So that's pretty much it for this video. In the next coming videos, I will go over how I am using LangChain to process the messages, and then also how the conversations are stored in Supabase. I'm also looking at going to a vector store as well, so we'll have some interesting updates in the coming week. Other than that, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.